Hello, my name is Keely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to give you a short tutorial of how to do a natural looking makeup. So if you're just going out for your normal day at work, you don't want to look all made up, and depending on your skin tone, you're going to need to alter what colors you use. But the best thing for you to do is to choose some color palettes that really kind of blend in with your skin. So a couple of things that you'll need is going to be some kind of eyeshadow. Now you can go one of two ways with this, and it doesn't really matter what the brand is. I am going to be using today sort of a lighter color to put on my eyes. I will also be using sort of a darker brown, maybe sort of a bronze, and this is the color palette I'm choosing. Now I am a darker toned person, so if you have lighter skin, you're going to want to choose something that is lighter. So for your eyes, you need to look for a shade that is a little bit lighter than your skin tone and a shade that's a little bit darker. You're also going to need some eyeliner, and I think that for a more natural look, you need something that's brown, not black. If you have really light skin, you might even consider going with something a little bit lighter than brown. Just try to find the lightest brown that you can. Dark colors on your eyeliner is going to look a lot more dressed up and made up. If you just do your eyes and your lips and you have sort of a nice skin complexion that you're not trying to cover up acne or any discolorations, then you could just leave it at that. You wouldn't even have to go in with a cheek powders or anything like that. Today I will go ahead and do the full gamut of everything. And some of the cheek colors that I use, sometimes I just use a plain old pink. And sometimes I'll use eyeshadow, which there are several pinks here. And I will just do like a brush across the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I normally like to start with my eyes. I don't know if it really matters in what order you do your makeup, but this is what I do. So I use sort of a very thin brush here for my first strokes, and I take a little bit of my lighter color, and this is going to be a bit different than what you would normally do for an evening look. A lot of times you put the dark color right here at the lid, and then the lighter color above. But I think that for a natural look, you might consider doing the light color at the bottom, which is kind of different. So I take this light color and I go across the bottom, like so, kind of like I'm putting on my eyeliner. I do sort of a very thin layer, just like this. And now you can see that I have a little bit of white there. I'll do the other side. It's just a little bit light. So when you're looking straight forward, it sort of brings out the skin color a little bit on your eyes. So now I'm going to do the other side. And I don't do this really very heavy. I just do really kind of light. Okay, so after I've done that more narrow color, I take a little bit bigger eye brush, and I'm going to choose for myself sort of a dark color, and that's because I am sort of a darker toned person, so this works for me. Then I'll take the lid and I'll pull down my eye like this and just sort of brush over right above my eyeball, and I leave that part at the top completely free of makeup at this point. And so I take a little bit for the other side, and I just go across the top of my eyelid. Okay, so that part is completely done now. I'm going to get my eyeliner, and I'm using sort of a glittery brown color today. Like I said, really want to avoid the black, or you're going to look more made up. That's more of an evening type of thing to do. So go with maybe a pink or a brown. If you're a really light-skinned person, pink is good, or something neutral. So I just really lightly do this brown. I do not do the inside of my eyes. The reason for that is I have contacts, so that's not really the best thing for me. I do a really small amount at the bottom as well, and I actually don't even go all the way into my eye. I only go from here to about halfway and stop. And now I'm going to do the other side, barely just picking up any color at all. I think most of the color is going to come from my mascara. Once I'm done with that, I have sort of a pressed powder, and it's not necessarily my favorite thing in the world, but I have learned to enjoy it and use it. And I just take it. It is the same color as my skin tone, so I use it as like a foundation base type of thing. And I'm just going to go over my eyes with this. And it's the same color as my skin tone. It would be what I'd put on my face. And I do this over top of all the colors that I just did, including my eyeliner. And I put my eyeliner on right before I do this. I want it to kind of blend it all. When you're doing a more natural look, you do need to blend. So I'm just going to continue to blend a little bit. Now I'm going to put on my mascara. This is my new mascara. It's Bombshell Blast. I do kind of like to have mascara that brings out my lashes a lot. Even for a natural look, I think it works. So I'm just going to put a little bit of it on. And this thing has two sides to it. I'm not entirely sure why there is two different applications. And it could just be that one is a more natural lash and the other one is more defining. I haven't played around with this one a lot yet. So now I'm going to do the number 2 and we'll see if that makes a huge difference. Seems to just be adding to what I've already done. I don't get real heavy with my mascara because, again, I'm going for more of a natural look. If you need to do your cheek powders or anything, go ahead and put on your foundation. I don't personally use foundation. In the winter time, sometimes I'll use this sort of a pressed thing. This is not my favorite thing in the world to use. I don't like to have a lot of makeup on my cheeks. It makes me feel really heavy and weighed down. So if you do some kind of foundation, you would do that now. And I'll just put on a little bit of this color right here. This is the same color as my face. And then I'm going to put a little bit of cheek powder on. Like I said, sometimes I'll actually just use some pink eyeshadow. And for this particular color palette, I kind of just run across all of it. It's got pinks and purples up here. And I do just a tiny bit of color. And you probably can't even really tell in this video that I'm putting much color on at all, because I want it to look natural. I don't want it to look as made up. And then I'm going to go back over it with a powder. If you don't have powder, then you can just skip this step altogether. But I think that anytime you want to go natural, you have to go over those colors with something close to your skin tone. At this point, you can stop or you can continue on and do something with your lips. I always suggest that you use a lip liner or do something that is long lasting, because you're going to eat it off so quickly. I almost never put lipstick on for that reason. I have a few lip stains, but I kind of think they're still very dark. Today I'll just use a really simple lip liner. Instead of just doing it as a liner, I will cover my entire lips with it. And this is just to bring in a tiny bit of color. I'm not using red or anything because, like I said, I wanted to have sort of a natural look. And I realize that you can tell I'm wearing makeup, but I think it gives a little bit of an enhancement for just every day. I don't think you have to be very precise with something that's real light like this. And if you like the sort of glossy look, now's the time to add that. Sort of that wet look. And I like to do that whenever I use a liner because it does make my lips look a little bit dried out. So this is my sort of natural everyday kind of look for my makeup, and it may be a little too made up for you even, and if that's the case, then just take some of that makeup off, or don't use such a light liner right there. Sometimes I will try to get something a little bit more neutral. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a message in the comments section, and I'll be sure to get back to you.